Good afternoon. Good morning. Yeah, my name is Maria Lustore. I'm the organizer of Parent Voices in San Francisco. And let me start by emphasizing that children learn in different settings, in caring environment with caring adults. And that's why we have parental choice. In fact, when my son was little, well, not so little, he was first grade about more than 15 years ago. I brought him here at the budget hearing. And Senator O'Connell was chairing the committee. It was staff development day at the school district, so it was off day for them, so I brought my children with me. And I drag my children around wherever I go because there's nobody to take care of them at home at evening meetings. And he said, "Mom, I want to say something." And I was worried what he was going to say because we didn't prepare for it. And so I said, "Okay." And when Senator O'Connell saw him in the line, he said, "Let the children speak first." And so my son told his experience in childcare, how he loved his teacher, how he enjoyed the activities they do, and he got an applause. And so I think it got to his head a little bit. And so when we had Advocacy Day at City Hall in San Francisco, he wanted to speak again. And we were at the mayor's office, the mayor's budget person was there, Steve Cava, and then my son, who was then 7, sat at the head of the table and banged the table and said, "If I were president, I would want all children to have childcare." So, and he had the right idea. I wish he would be president, but he'll never be president. But you, our legislators here, have that opportunity to make sure that we reinvest in childcare. In the last 5 years, we've lost more than a third of our funding for childcare, and we hope that we reinvest some money to get some of that back. We cut back to the bone, and the infrastructure of childcare is really fragile, and we hope to build on that before we have these great big ideas of providing other new programs. Let's build on what we have, let's make it stronger, and let's help our children the best way we can. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Woon. I have 3 children. I a single mom. 所有嘅工作都係由我 take care 我嘅 kid。咁我係好需要啲 work。咁如果冇咗 Children Council 幫我 take care 我啲child care 嘅服務咧，我係唔可以工作。咁我嘅 family 就冇收入啦。我嘅所有嘅就 live eat 所有好基本 basic 嘅生活都係由收入嘅。如果我冇咗呢啲child care 俾我嘅話咧，我係唔可以照顧我哋嘅細路仔咯。所以我呢啲故事唔係我自己一個人嘅，我好多草根階層嘅家庭都係類似呢啲。我希望你哋係 support 我哋。咁好嘅托兒咧，我希望咧係能夠令到我細路仔係有一個好 safe、好有歸屬感喺佢個家庭嗰度，令到我好安心咁去做我嘅工作。Thank you.
Thank you.
Onunchi is from the district of Assemblymember Phil Ting, so we thought it was okay for her to speak in Chinese.
Yes, I'm sure Mr. Ting received the message.
Hi, my name is Junebug, and I'm with the Parent Voices San Francisco chapter. I'm an early child educator, and I'm a mother of 2. My daughter was diagnosed with cerebral palsy. I became an early child educator because of my experience as a child and because of my brother. He didn't get the support, early child education, and he became a statistic. At age 13, he struggled with reading, and he ended up being incarcerated. I became a child advocate and a parent voices advocate because when acquiring childcare for my own son, it became a weight and a very stressful to obtain and maintain childcare. For my daughter, childcare placement became difficult because of the lack of inclusion for children with special needs. So I had a couple of comments in regards to your TK program. All educators need an ECE background, special education background, and 2 teachers is not adequate to provide quality care when taking those factors into consideration when dealing with children with special needs. And the fact that this revision of the TK program didn't really include people it would affect, so I say nothing about us without us. The state of California is in a child care crisis, and when it rains, it pours. And so we really do need the rainy day funding now. This child care crisis has created a funnel into the welfare system and or recidivism of poverty. We can thrive as a state when we create a system that eradicates poverty. Making our children a priority is a key step in making that a reality. We need to rebuild eligibility requirements, the SMI, the cost of living. We need to rebuild the early child education system and the child care system. We need to restore $500 million into child care. Our budget should always include children. We need to reinvest in our 0 to 4 population.
There are 2 minutes.
We have 3,150 children waiting on the cell list. This has to change. Yes, we all have choices, but we don't all have the same opportunities. Create opportunities so that people who have obstacles don't have to become statistics. Childcare keeps parents earning and children learning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Veronica Ramirez. I am a Parent Voices leader of Contra Costa County. As a parent, the waiting list has become a no-hope list. Being in the waiting list for me for over a year has been stressful, holding me back in many ways, but having my parents and family help me with my children has been a blessing. If I wouldn't have them, I wouldn't be able to go to school, nor look for a job, nor be working. As a mom, I worry about my children's education every day. I do what I can for their education, but it has become harder for me this past year where I've been hospitalized or in bed due to major health issues that are not in my control. But yet I know that I will continue to fight, and I hope childcare becomes accessible to low-income families and to everyone who is trying to survive and educate their children. At the moment, I am thankful that my son is going to preschool, but I have a major concern for my 3-year-old daughter who is waiting in the waiting list. Early child education is important because that's when they most learn. I need childcare assistance because even if I have my family, I wish I could have a secure child care for my daughter, because I know the stress my mom already has having to deal with my disabled sister, who is disabled and being limited with transportation. Many things concern me, most important, my children's education. I believe childcare keeps California working. I wouldn't be able to work and pay childcare if it would become impossible, work an 8 to 12-hour shift, and also teach my children and take care of my health issues at the same time. I will continue because I am a fighter, and with childcare assistance, my children will succeed. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, good morning to all. My name is Elia. I'm from San Francisco Parent Voices chapter. And the reason I'm here for is to speak on behalf of my daughter. She really needs child care, and so she could go back to school and get a good education and be able to work. So she needs child care. And I could do so much for her, to watch the kids, and because there's 4 grandkids. And I can't watch them all at the same time. And one of them has autism, so it's very hard. With him, it's like having 10 children in the house. And it's very hard. And my granddaughter's barely going to school in the fall. And my grandson hasn't been able to get any program or any help. But he's going to start probably in the fall, and I'll be happy if he does, because he really needs a lot of help. With autism, they need a lot of help. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hello. My name is Jessica Wood, and I'm here to represent all the parents and families who are working or in school and could not make it here today. I'm a member of Parent Voices and have been for 4 years. I just graduated from the JC with 2 associate degrees and was able to transfer to Sonoma State this current semester. I'm attending SSU full-time and working on my bachelor's degree now. I work 2 jobs to support my family, and I'm able to do all of this because of my subsidy. I'm on stage 3 right now, and I ask that stage 3 be fully funded this year and for years to come. I'm a statistic right now. I'm a single mother who depends on my subsidy to be able to do all I do, but I'm doing everything I can to raise my family out of poverty. I would not be able to work on my dreams if I did not have my subsidy. My 4-year-old is in preschool every day and is thriving and ready for kindergarten this fall because of my subsidy, and my older son, who is 12, is on the high honor roll and has somewhere to go safely at night when I work, instead of the alternative of raising his little brother while I am at work. I feel blessed to be able to receive the help I receive, and I'm here today to ask that others receive the same opportunity that I'm being given. We need to fully fund stage 3 and invest money to serve families who are on the waiting list. I have talked to many families on the wait list, and many cannot work or go to school because they do not have the means to pay for child care. My children and all California's children do not deserve to be left behind. Please hear me when I ask you to invest in our future leaders. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Lisette Nierim. I'm a mother and a daycare provider. I've been doing daycare for 25 years. And every time I open the doors of my home, I welcome every children that comes to my care. Not once have I opened the door and said to these children, you're not deserving of education or a chance to succeed. Not once have I done that, because I know that every child has the potential to live out their dreams. And so my job is to make sure that they are ready to succeed in school and one day wear a graduation cap and a gown. As a child care educator, I stand here today and ask, what is California's job? To put children on a waiting list, or to give them the access the early earning need to succeed? It is to let licensed providers slip under the rug, or to prioritize recruitment, reattention of quality and experienced family child care providers. It is time for California to stop choosing children who deserve or not to have that education. I have a child who has succeeded in my daycare, who is now in San Jose as a valet group. He is thriving. I have a child in my care at this moment who didn't speak a word of English or Spanish when he came into my care. He has some disabilities, and yet he's thriving. He speaks English and Spanish as of now, and he's ready to enter into the education program. I urge you to please hear us who provide daycare and education to these children. We're not daycare providers who sit on the chairs and look at their children play. We interact with them. We give them the opportunity to learn numbers, to learn the ABCs, to know the colors, to know when to turn or to cross the streets. These parents here are dependent on us to be able to provide for them the education that they need in the early years. I am very proud to say that as the fact that I stay home and took care of children for the more part of 25 years, my old children are also succeeding. I have a child who's in Sac State.
Okay, you're at 2.5 minutes. Please
who
wrap up.
has become masters in psychology, and I have my other children, adults, who are succeeding as well.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Cheryl Lilly. I'm a stay-at-home mom from Antelope, California in District 7. I'm honored and humbled to be able to come to speak to you all today in support of Steinberg's SB 837, TK for All. I have seen firsthand with my 2 sons the difference that TK can make. My first son came through the kindergarten before TK was available, before SB 1381, and he ultimately struggled all through kindergarten and first grade and was retained at the end of first grade. Because I didn't want my second son to struggle this way, I fought for Center Unified, our school district, to implement a pilot TK program a year before it was mandated. So what I want to tell you is that The year that my second son, Hunter, spent building a foundation in TK was instrumental in readying him for the Common Core standards that he is now tackling today in first grade. I was also able to observe the positive impact that TK had on other children in the district, both in Hunter's class and in the years that have followed, as this is the third year that's now completing of the TK program in Center Unified. These children receive instruction from a fully credentialed teacher in a class that is limited to 20 students, whereas the other kindergarten classes had 32 students. The curriculum is drawn from kindergarten standards, and it was designed to prepare them academically and socially to be successful in kindergarten and beyond. We sometimes forget that we're not only talking about preparation for kindergarten, we're talking about whether these kids are going to ultimately be successful in first grade when they go into a full day program and much higher.
Please try to wrap up.
Thank you. It's time now for the legislature to once again stand behind early education. There's more work to be done. There are 2 districts that are not in compliance right now with SB 1381. This new legislation that is proposed would close that loophole, and it would expand TK to all 4-year-olds so that other children can not have to suffer the negative effects of being retained. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Autumn Hester, and I'm from Calaveras County. I am currently a transitional kindergarten teacher, and I just want to speak to, I've had the opportunity for the last 2 years to keep my TKs that I taught last year and to have them this year. The marked difference that these transitional kindergartners are now having as kindergartners is phenomenal. They have confidence. They have stimulated their curiosity. They're really thriving. And so when they go into first grade, they're going to be truly ready to learn. And it has made a huge, huge difference. I really encourage you guys to really look into the option of universal TK. I think it has the opportunity to transform our educational system, and I don't think we'll have to spend nearly as much money on intervention when they get to 2nd and 3rd grade because they've had that strong foundation in kindergarten. So thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Anna Levine. I'm a senior staff attorney at the Child Care Law Center, and I just wanted to urge the legislature in our rebuilding efforts to focus on coordinating around the commitments we've already made, the system we already have, and around some of the federal initiatives that are happening that are tied to our Child Care Development Fund dollars, which fund the majority of our child care programs in this state. And specifically, when I talk about the commitments we've already made, we have a system in which we are obligated from the federal level to provide equal access to the child care market, and we claim to be setting our reimbursement at market rates, but as some of the panelists have mentioned, we're using 2005 data. When we talk about eligibility, we have a commitment to a mixed income, moderate income system, and some of the panelists also spoke to why that has developmental and other benefits. But we're using 2007, 2008 data when we talk about providing access to even 70%, the lowered eligibility rate, which is really at this point below 200% of federal poverty level. Let's call it what it is for a family of 4. And when we talk about quality, there are coming down the pike in 2015. We will have effective federal standards on our Child Care Development Fund dollars that are raising the quality, that are requiring training, requiring annual inspections, requiring a number of things that will make this a better system, but will have costs, and we don't want to lose more families from the system as we meet that. And so when we talk about quality systems, we shouldn't, first of all, have to change our terms. We can call it child care and still have a high quality system. And we can talk about, and we shouldn't have to wait till age 4 for it to be a high quality system. So I thank you for this hearing.
Thank you.
Hello, Leilani Aguinaldo Yee on behalf of the Los Angeles Unified School District Superintendent, Dr. John Daisy. Dr. Daisy supports the goals that are contained in the Early Edge proposal, which are in SB 837, and we look forward to continuing to work with the author and the sponsor as the bill is further refined through the legislative process. At LAUSD, we remain committed to early education, and we believe that SB 837 provides us with opportunities to expand existing programs. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Derek Hodges. I am a parent, I am a state employee, and a job steward with SEIU Local 1000. Over the last few months, we have been talking to our members about their children or grandchildren and how our union is working to help find solutions to child care struggles that families face. A dad, Mr. Pruitt, who very reluctantly now has to rely on his parents to care for his 3 kids because even though he and his wife, who have good paying jobs, he is in IT, he can no longer afford to pay $2,100 a month for child care programs. The size of a parent's paycheck should not determine a child's future. If we know the first 5 years are key to succeed in school, we need to make sure every child has that opportunity to one day wear a graduation cap and gown. We need to invest in early learning now, and that investment includes prioritizing the retention and recruitment of licensed child care providers so that we can take every child off that waiting list and put him or her into the early learning environment they need to succeed. Parents depend on quality and experienced child care providers. It's the only way we can go to work with the peace of mind knowing our kids are taken care of and are getting the early learning they need. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Celia Ayala, and I'm the Chief Executive Officer for Los Angeles Universal Preschool. And established to provide quality preschool programs, over 95,000 children have benefited and have been ready for kindergarten. However, most recently with the California Signature Program and with the Early Challenge Grant, we have been working with the 0 to 5 entities with over 650 providers in LA County. And so LAUP would like for you to consider quality being the primary and critical ingredient for all early learning programs in California. You have a beginning. We have an early learning plan that was developed that you could begin to use as a framework to look at quality for all children, especially those most vulnerable children that need the most help to be successful when they enter kindergarten, when they get to 3rd grade, when they graduate from high school, and then go on to the world of work or the world of university. So we do have a plan. It can be done. 16 counties are already doing it, implementing it, but not fully in the entire county with all of its providers. There's something that you could take into consideration and put dollars to be able to ensure that quality is the most critical component for all children's programs. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, thank you for this hearing. My name is Rosie Kennedy, a former family child care provider, and now with the Family Child Care Association of San Francisco. The first definition of high quality care that I've read was in one of the first child development books I read, and it says small groups, high quality care and education is small groups of children in a home environment with the same caregiver, the same nurturing caregiver over a long period of time. So these components are all inherently present in family child care, and I'm really glad to hear that building on the current system is a strong consensus among us. The system as it is now has evolved because it best meets the needs of the children and families. It's not an accident. I want to talk about mixed age groups a little bit. Besides the fact that caring for just infants alone is not financially sustainable, I submit to you that it may not be the most developmentally appropriate for the infants. When I had my large family child care, I had a mixed age groups with a preschool component with daily learning activities. What was most evident is that the youngest children, the infants and toddlers, learned and developed much more quickly and much more enthusiastically by being with the older children. In turn, the preschoolers gained a great deal of confidence, self-respect, and a lot of empathy for the younger children who had different capabilities. So I'm very hopeful at the promise that there's a strong political will and focus on early childhood and education, with a strong emphasis on infants and toddlers for the first time. Yay. But I also want to urge us not to lose the elements that have worked wonders and have worked for the children and families. By far, the biggest lack has not been the system or the committed providers, irrespective of setting. It has been the lack of funding and support for children, parents, and those who take the responsibility for the care and education of the youngest children. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Beth Helmson with Fight Crime Invest in Kids, representing over 400 sheriffs, police chiefs, district attorneys, and crime victims who believe that it's time we really focus on what keeps kids in school, out of jails, and off the streets. We are very supportive of early childhood education, and I know that folks today have talked about the benefits and crime prevention, public safety benefits of early childhood programs, and we really support investments in these programs in the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Members of the committee, Bron Shea Jones on behalf of Knowledge Universe. I'll just say briefly, we agree with the earlier comments by my colleague Deneen from CAPA, and just point out two specific things. If we looked at the RMR, so we weren't using rates from 2005, we think that's important, and also look at reinvesting in some of the slots that we've lost. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cliff Markison, Director of Options. It's a nonprofit agency doing state child care programs in Los Angeles County. Two existing state policies actually further degrade the quality of programs each year of our center-based programs. The first is the lack of a COLA. Because the legislature hasn't provided a COLA, my teachers haven't gotten a COLA in 7 years, and they have had to pay out of their pocket for all of the increase in medical benefits. I've also had to cut back as other costs have gone up in things we do, including eliminating, for example, field trips for our children. So I think the first thing that the committee should look at is eliminating the current state policies that the governor has perpetuated in his current budget that actually cause further degrading of the system every year. So put in a COLA, and secondarily, the fees in Part Day State Preschool have seriously eroded that program. We have closed 5 classes this year primarily due to those fees. Please end that policy.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Nina Boothie, California Child Development Administrators Association. Just want to thank you very much for the hearing today. Lots of very good information on early childhood issues. One issue I do want to focus on, and that has really been outlined, I think, very well today, that is the stagnant reimbursement rates. With the upcoming minimum wage increase, we're going to see programs that already have very tight and constrained budgets. It's going to be very, very challenging for them to actually make ends meet once that goes into place. Also, we've heard today kind of the staggering numbers in terms of the number of high-quality early education programs that have closed, simply because reimbursement rates do not cover the cost of care. In particular, I would like to highlight the rates of closure for our Title V infant-toddler programs. From a high in October 2009 to October of 13, we've had a decrease in services for infant-toddlers by 43.4%. That means over 8,000 children have lost their services in infant and toddler just over a 4-year period. I know this is just the start of the conversation today, and I really appreciate both of you looking forward and looking at putting a plan in place for California and how we will be moving forward. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chairs. Khadija Alam Javed with the Advancement Project. I agree with a lot of the comments that have been made. We believe there should be 2 components to the early education conversation. Reinvestment, and then also restoration of funds. Restoration of funds, we have a longer proposal of what this should look like, and I will hand that to your staff today. But the other component of it is reinvesting. So we believe we have to look at that as a comprehensive birth to 5 approach, like many of my colleagues have said, which should look at the 0 to 3 component. We believe Senator Liu's bill is moving into the right direction to have that conversation, and also the TK proposal for all 4-year-olds. I'm not here just as an advocate today, but a parent to a 4-month-old who is lucky enough to have grandparents to take care of him today, but also lucky enough to be born in October to take advantage of the current TK program. So I hope every child has that opportunity, and the universal TK is the right approach to that. Thank you so much for having this hearing today, and we look forward to working with you to moving these proposals forward and making it happen this year. Thank you.
Thank you.